Okay, so here we go. Gargi, Devashish, myself, and Shomik. Shomik, you go first. So, what has it seeped in that India has won a historic test match? Your takeaways from the press conference, you were there. Your thoughts on everything.
See, the Kanpur crowd thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a packed house on day one, attesting the city's love for Test cricket. It is one of the historic Test centers in India, although the facilities are not up to the required standards. Then again, people here love Test cricket, and India gave them a game. Basically, after back-to-back washed out days, the game was sort of dead and buried. But thanks to Rohit Sharma and even Ashwin mentioned that at the press conference, how captain when your captain leads by the example, the entire dressing room follows the suit. So from that point of view, I mean, Indian team, the way they took the game forward. I mean, they could have played for personal milestones, and then the game would have ended in a drab draw. That didn't happen. And once they took the game to Bangladesh, they panicked. They simply panicked.
Gargi, you agree? Bangladesh panicked or they are not good enough?
Not good enough. At least not, a match for the Indian team that has stepped in front of them. Maybe even India's C team would not be a good match for them, because at this point you're looking at the kind of quality of cricket that you're watching from Bangladesh. They're not even lasting 150 runs. They're not even able to make 150 runs. Yes, we had only 2.5 days of game, but Bangladesh could have well tried to bat deep and drawn this match, and made sure that they batted deep and completed the 5 days and ended in a draw. But they could not do that. 146 they were all out for, and it's honestly a little shambolic to watch. It might have been, if I was a Bangladesh fan or if I was a player, I would be embarrassed at this point, because at no point should you should a match that only lasts 2.5 days should be this dominating from one side. You don't expect that. You're on mute.
Devashish, has India actually made it? Or is there, I mean, is it a mathematical thing now? Because South Africa versus Sri Lanka is in South Africa. Sri Lanka will lose or is expected to lose. So is it a more mathematical calculation now, or what is it? I mean, what is the real picture? Yes, everybody knows that India needs to win 3 matches and all that. But what is real, the reality? Is the reality any different? Has India already put a foot forward into the final, Devashish?
No, Boryada. Even if I was just going through some stats, WTC points table, and what series are remaining. The latest that we are getting is that even if India wins 3-0 against New Zealand at home, they will reach a percentile point of 79.76. With the series win against Bangladesh, they are at 74.24, far ahead than Australia. If they win the series against New Zealand 3-0, they will end up 79.76. But a, but a test loss against Australia, if they lose the test series 4-1, their percentile points drops down to 64.04. And in that case, Australia will go to 67.65. So if India loses the series against Australia 4-1, India's percentile points drops down to 64.04, while Australia's percentile points raises to 67.65. And they still have, and if Australia then draws the series against Sri Lanka, they still remain at 65.75. Now coming to South Africa, as you rightly mentioned, that South Africa has a very, very good chance. How? South Africa has 6 tests remaining, 2 in Bangladesh, 2 against Pakistan, and Sri Lanka at home. So they play Pakistan and Sri Lanka at home. So if they win the 6 remaining test matches, they will reach a percentile point of 69.44. So in that case, but anything less, if South Africa does not win all their remaining 6 test matches, that will keep the South African point, the percentile point to 63.89. Then India qualifies. So it is it is right now a three-head race with India, South Africa, and Australia, even outside chance Sri Lanka. So 4 teams are in play to qualify for the World Test Championship final. Yes, India by winning this Test match has done wonders. Has done and has kept a foot forward. But even a 3-0 series win against New Zealand will not guarantee, provided they lose the series against Australia 4-1.
So Shomik, suppose India wins 2 test matches in Australia, it could be an India-South Africa final?
That will depend on Australia. I mean, Australia will South Africa. If the South Africa go on to win all their test matches, yes. If India win 2 test matches in Australia, then it would be India and South Africa final.
But you expect South Africa to stumble in Bangladesh against Bangladesh on turning wickets. That is also
India.
Isn't it, Gargi and Devashish? I mean, Bangladesh in Bangladesh against South Africa on ranked turners, South Africa will struggle.
That's true. Shomik is back, I think.
Shomik?
Shomik?
Yes, can you
Shomik,
please?
you reckon South Africa will struggle in Bangladesh?
I hope I don't see South Africa winning all their tests. I mean, we can say effectively it's the Australia. I think Australia would be there, and effectively India are already there. I mean, basically, if India wins 3 more tests, they are there. And I mean, obviously, Debashish gave us all the mathematical permutations and combinations, and it is brilliant the way he described the entire thing about the percentage points. But I mean, in terms of reality, this Indian team is too good not to win 3 tests out of the next 8 they would play. And I mean, also I don't see South Africa winning all their tests, especially on the dust bowls at Mirpur.
Devashish, can India lose 5-0 against Australia? Then what happens?
Interesting, Buria. If they lose 5-0 to Australia, it will be interesting. Means all these talks about India reaching the WTC final for the 3rd consecutive time might actually end up, they might actually end up not being in the final at Lord's in June. So key for India will be to win at least 2 test matches against Australia. Out of the 5 test matches, they will then guarantee a place. Means without saying, they will definitely guarantee a place to be in the WTC final. But 4-1, as I mentioned, even if they lose the series 4-1, their percentile point drops down to 64.04 from 74.74, and if they win the 3 test matches against New Zealand, their percentile point goes to 79.76. So it will be very interesting. But but India, to guarantee themselves for WTC final, they need to win at least 2 test matches against Australia as of now.
Devashish, what happens if India lose the series 3-1?
India lose the series
3-1.
3-1.
3-1. That I have to calculate, because what I am getting is that if India loses the series 4-1,
I mean,
but it is mentioned
what I'm saying if there is a draw.
Shomik is saying 1 draw. Shomik is saying
Yes.
what Vicky Ponting said. Because of the weather, 1
then
draw.
India has a fair chance. Then India might have a fair chance. If India draws
Shomik,
1 test and loses 1 test,
point হচ্ছে যেটা দেবাশিস বলছে, away test if you draw also you are good. So even if you lose 3-1, India will be in the final. And you have to see what South Africa does in Mirpur, because in the dust bowls of Mirpur, I don't see South Africa winning all test matches. And Sri Lanka going to South Africa, Sri Lanka will lose there. So in all permutation combination, it looks like India Australia could be an outside chance. I mean, let's see. But India definitely at this point in time are way ranked favorites. I mean, I don't see India losing 5-0 or India losing anything like that. That's not going to happen. All of us know that this Indian team is too good. Because if that happens, then you will say sack Rohit Sharma, sack Gautam Gambhir, sack everybody. So that is not going to happen.
but the thing is that I mean I am not worried about India reaching the WTC final. But once they get there, once again they will be going there on a little
No,
undercooked
underprepared. You
on
won't
the
win.
heat on,
You
on
won't
the
win
heels
that.
of
Shomik, there is no, I mean, the moment you make the WTC final at Lords, it is early June. You will go after the IPL. Again, you will be underprepared. You will not be able to master
exactly
conditions in 7 days. And it will be a
exactly
problem. So, however much we say, it will be a problem.
exactly exactly.
So that is why the truth is India versus Australia's Test match series is the WTC final. That one-off Test match is a tukka. It's okay.
Exactly, and India versus Australia Test Series is the unofficial World Championship of Test cricket. Number one and number two is playing. It's the
Yeah, but why
unofficial
should we
World
why should
Championship.
we say that? Why should we say it is the unofficial World Championship when it is played in Australia? It could have been played in
No, no,
India also.
as, as because it doesn't have the ICC's rubber stamp that this is the official World
Yeah, I
Championship.
agree.
So we are
Agree,
saying that
agree.
this is unofficial World Championship.
I agree. Devashish and Gargi, do you agree? India versus Australia in Australia, that is the series in the cricket world at the moment?
Absolutely. The
Australia are
number
the
one
two
test is
are the best
number one
teams
test
in
is
the world,
taking.
and when they play a five Test series, that's the
You're
unofficial
on
World
mute, Boria,
Championship.
sir. You're on mute, sir.
So, calm down. So Shomik and Devashish both say that it's the unofficial World Championship, and there's somebody who's joining from Dubai. He's just reached. Snehashish Mukherjee, what's happening? Have you reached Dubai? Is everything good? Have the Emirati
Yes,
welcomed you?
yes, everything is good. The weather is kind of hot, but everything is good. I have to go to the stadium now because I have to collect the accreditation, and I will look to get to go to the second practice match today because India will play the second practice match today. So I'll go to there. But overall, it is absolutely good. The journey has been super
So flight was okay, everything okay. How's the weather? Very hot?
good. Very hot, very hot. I was talking to the cab driver. The cab driver was telling that maybe one more week the heat will be like this, but after that I think some rain has happened yesterday and day before yesterday. So I think after 1.5 week, I think the weather will become a pleasant mood.
Nice. So Snehashish, I know you have to leave for the stadium, so we wanted a quick comment for you, from you rather. So please go take, get some rest and go to the stadium and enjoy the game, and we will look forward to some fantastic coverage. Gargi, you want to ask
Yeah.
anything?
And
Quickly ask before the man has to
and
go to the
have
stadium.
some Swarma rap. Snehashish have some
Okay,
Swarma
done,
rap.
done, done, done.
So
Yeah.
already is asking to have shawarma. Not bad.
No, I wanted to ask who you're most excited to watch among the Indian team.
Who you're most
Excited to
Excited to
watch.
watch.
excited to watch? I think Shriti Mandana and Jemima Rodriguez. I love Jemima Rodriguez batting because I love anchor type of batting. So I think Jemima Rodriguez is a prime example. So I love her. So I let's see how
No,
she to
you
does.
don't love her. You love her batting.
You love her
I love
batting.
her batting. Yes,
Yeah.
clearly. I love her as a player. I love her as a player.
And also your other responsibility is to take care of Bharat Ramraj. That is a full-time responsibility.
Done, done.
So there
Okay.
you go. Snehashish and Bharat. Bharat, I think will reach late today, right? That's the plan.
Yes.
Okay. So
He will
Snehashish, you can
he
head
will
out
come
to the
late.
stadium and keep it posted. Gargi, you
Yes.
take it from here.
Okay,
Snehashish, thanks
okay.
for joining.
Bye. Thank you.
So I was just checking who became the player of the series, and it's Ravichandran Ashwin. So there you go. Now I think it's time we put it on a stamp that Ravichandran Ashwin is one of the best, if not the best, all-rounder produced from India. Boria, what do you think? He's a close friend of yours. Tell us about it.
Got to get him to the conclave. That's my only thing. You have to start the conclave with Ravichandran Ashwin. The way he's played his cricket, the way he articulates himself, the way he's conducted himself as a cricketer, I think to get Ravichandran Ashwin to start off the conclave will be the ideal celebration, and that is what I will aim to do. I want to get Ashwin to the conclave in March. So obviously, and yes, I agree. I think Ravichandran Ashwin will break Anil Kumble's record of 619 wickets and will become India's highest ever wicket taker. I also think he'll score a couple more 50s, which will get him to 600s and many 50s with an average of say about 26, 27. So anyone who says that Ravichandran Ashwin is not as good an all-rounder as anyone else, even Kapil Paji, with due respect, will be doing Ashwin a great disservice, because Ravichandran Ashwin is right up there, as is Ravindra Jadeja. The combination of Ash and Jadeja have been responsible for India's test wins in the last decade. So it is very important we give the duo their due and say that they are two greats that we have had the fortune and privilege of watching in the last decade, Gargi.
Absolutely. Shomik, if I were to ask you, like Boria said, he's someone, I think of Ravichandran Ashwin as a genius of the game, even though he's not really perceived that way by everyone and is incredibly undermined. Now with this, with the way that he has performed in the series, hopefully they don't go ahead in the BGT and drop him for one of the matches, one or two of the matches. You never know.
No, Gargi, I will slightly disagree. I will respectfully disagree. Ashwin is not a genius of the game. Genius is Shane Warne. Ashwin has worked his way up, and he has worked his socks off. He had spent several hours in the nets to bring on the varieties. He has thought, sometimes, even by his own admission, he did overthinking as far as his bowling is concerned. But I mean, given that he didn't have his mind, he didn't have Irapalli Prasanna's talent, but what he had, and I keep coming back to a line from Kapil Dev's autobiography, Cricket My Style, wherein Kapil Dev said, God gave me the outswinger, the rest I had to learn. And it was a, I mean, Ashwin developed his game in along that line. He had to he had to learn the carom ball. He had to learn to bury his face. He had to learn a lot of things. So all said and done, and it was not easy to step into Harbhajan Singh's shoes, who had 400 plus Test wickets and who had a great partnership with Anil Kumble. So when you are replacing someone like Harbhajan Singh, and then pulling your, pulling your weight for so long, this is incredible achievement. Just I have a concern that over the next 1.5 years, India won't be playing too many test matches at home. Five in Australia, followed by the World Test Championship, then followed by five in England. So it needs to be seen how many matches Ashwin play in the next 1.5 years. So that is one point, because if India go with one specialist spinner overseas, then it will be Jadeja, because Jadeja, given that he is a complete package, batting, bowling, and fielding, he is undroppable for the balance of the side.
Devashish, uh, you were raising your hand. Did you have a point to make?
No, I just wanted to ask our Buryada and Shomikda. I have a very interesting stats in front of me. With India winning 18 Test series at home, can it be said that India's dominance at home is far more better than Australia, who has won 10 Test series at home since 1994 to 2000? Another 10 Test series at home from 2004 to 2008. West Indies, that indomitable side, they won 8 Test series at home from 1976 to 86. And New Zealand, 8 Test series from 2017 to 2000. I'm talking about Test series wins at home. India, 18 Test series win at home. Can it be said that India's dominance at home is, means can it be stamped that India's dominance at home is far more superior than the teams that I just compared with?
See, one thing you have to agree is India at home is invincible. Actually invincible. I mean, they have not lost a series for 12 years. If you have not lost a series for 12 years, I mean, a whole generation has grown up in India without seeing India lose. Gargi's generation is actually get her generation. So she's what, in her mid 20s. She's actually not seen India lose while she has grown up, when she played her cricket and now she's working. So imagine this. For 12, 13 years, a team has not lost. So an entire generation of cricket fans are actually growing up watching this team only win. Incredible. Absolutely. I mean, it had happened with Clive Lloyd's team. Both, because you remember, Devashish, Clive used to tell both you and me that for 15 years in the West Indies, nobody had seen us lose. It is the same with Rohit, and before that Virat, and before that MS and whatever. And this is an incredible achievement for Indian cricket, that for 12 years you've not lost. And I don't see them losing to New Zealand. So it will continue for another year at least. I mean, when I look around me, I don't see any team that is capable of beating India in India. Not one team. Had this even Australia, this Australia also is not capable of beating India in India at all. I mean, I can say this with due confidence that today's India, it's an incredible, I mean, absolutely sensational team, because all boxes are ticked. Earlier, we did not fast bowlers look at it. Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, Akashdeep, Ashwin, Jadeja, Kuldeep. Kuldeep Yadav sitting outside. Kuldeep Yadav is sitting outside. He's a match winner in any condition. Fantastic team, boss. Fantastic team.
I wanted to go to
Shomik,
table
your
tennis.
thoughts?
Okay, let's ask Shomik.
Basically, nothing more to add. I mean, this is an incredible achievement. This is an incredible achievement. I mean, one of the fundamentals of any performing art is that you don't compare the grades. While Lloyd's West Indies were a great team, Test cricket was not so. I mean, there was not an overdose of cricket back in those days. Cricket used to be a winter sport in India, and summer sport in England and Australia and the rest of the world. Test matches were few and far between. So, and from that perspective, that maintaining the dominance that what Clive Lloyd's team did, followed by Steve Waugh's Australia, followed by Ricky Ponting's Australia, everything taken into account, they were great teams in their own right, and this Indian team is also a great team in their own right. This, I think, when eventually when they will go and lose a test match, if that happens in the near future, the legacy this team has created will remain unmatched.
And before we go to table tennis, I just wanted to ask Devashish. Just a second, there's an echo. Yeah. So I wanted to ask Devashish about Yashasvi Jaiswal. He's won the Man of the Match award, and he's really turning out as someone who gives you immense intent and aggression in both innings. What do you say about him?
We had a discussion on Yashasvi in our post match show today, and Buriada was right in saying, absolutely spot on in saying, if Yashasvi can go and perform in Australia like the way he has done so far in Test matches, means it goes without saying that then he will still his dominance as a opening batsman. He is still not tested in Sena conditions. Yes, he has played an outstanding knock in South Africa, but to go out there in against the likes of Pat Cummins, Hazelwood, and Stark in the trying conditions, if he can dominate there, then obviously Yashasvi means there will be no doubt in claiming seeing him as the best opening batsman going around in modern era. But yes, so far he has scored in West Indies, debut 100 in West Indies. He has scored runs at home, but his real challenge will be to score in Australia, Gargi. And remember, he is the second highest run getter after Joe Root in this WTC cycle. So that is an incredible achievement for a youngster like Yashasvi, who is just how many 1.5 years, 2 years to dominate in world cricket the way he has. And he is not done well in one format, across the formats, be it one day, T20 and test matches. So that's a huge achievement.
Shomik, you are saying something? You're on mute.
I just want to add something to this. At the press conference, at the post-match press conference today, Ashwin was asked about Yashasvi Jaiswal, and he called Jaiswal and Shubman Gill as the future pillars of Indian cricket.
Totally, and I personally think that he's going to be one of the biggest stars in Indian cricket going forward. He's already one, but he's all set to become one of the biggest stars produced from India. I wanted to come to table tennis now. We're looking at the China Smash 2024, and today, some if you could just unmute yourself, yeah, yeah, because there's some
No,
echo.
just
Okay, there's some echo.
yeah, just one final word on Jesse that I would back him to score runs in Australia because his style is beside the line of the ball, not behind the line of the ball. And players who adopt to that method, Gundappa Vishwanath, I am talking about the very best, Gundappa Vishwanath, VVS Lakshman, they have always scored runs on bouncy pitches. What will happen in the swing? What will happen when there is swing, like in England? That's for the future. Time will tell. But I bet just score runs.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
on to
point made by Shomik. Shomik, have your cup of coffee, by the way. Today's International Coffee Day.
yes. Okay, so I wanted to go to China Smash, not China, but China Smash 2024, where the only victory from Indian paddlers we've seen today comes from the doubles pairing of Aika and Sutirtha, as India suffered defeats in all singles matches. The duo have now advanced to round 16, but you know,
Just a second, Gargi. Just sorry to interrupt. And can I take your leave because I'll have to finish that copy. Thank you.
yeah. So Aika and Sutirtha, they've gone on to round 16, but Boria, this tournament has been some sort of a disappointment. Be it Manav, be it Manika, Shrija, or Sharat, all of them have lost out in their rounds, and now we're looking at only one doubles pairing going forward. What do you think? Do you think Indian table tennis at this point is in a bit of a slump? Mute.
If you see the Olympic Games, we did reasonably well, especially the women's team. To take out a higher ranked side in Romania was a very good achievement. Thereafter, against Germany, we lost. But China is always a difficult place to play in, whatever sport you play, whether it's baddie, whether it's table tennis, whether it's any other sport. So it is not an easy place to play. And the standard, the local crowd, the conditions, all of this. So Indian table tennis overall, women's table tennis especially, is in pretty decent health. Srija, Manika, if you see the
Absolutely.
world rankings, they're at their best in the top 30. If you see some of the others, I thought they had the opportunity of Archana Kamath did not do too badly, but Ahika maybe should have sort of been in the team in the first place in the Olympic Games. So Indian women's table tennis has been pretty strong in recent times. Men, they got a bad draw with China. Sharat obviously is sort of past his prime. He's continuing to play, and hats off. But the next gen, whether it is Manav, whether it is Satyan, whether it is Harmeet, whoever it is, you really want them to power on, because Sharat, for example, still has to be pushed. Whether it is Srijesh, for example, we have seen Suraj and Krishan doing very well, right, in the next tournament in hockey. Someone needs to come and get Suril Chetri's place in football. Someone needs to come and get Sharat's place in table tennis. So these are kind of transitions you want to see. Having said that, I do see that historic Asian Games medal, that win against Romania. Overall, Shrija coming very close against the Chinese. Two sets, both the first two games, she was 10-6 up on her birthday. So these are good signs for Indian table tennis going forward. But you now need to consolidate those kind of opportunities into wins. Only then the sport will develop further.
Yes, and if I were to ask you about Aika and Sutirtha as well, we've seen them do very well in the recent past. Yeah.
Yeah, Asian Games is an example, and
Hmm.
and and they were fantastic in the Asian Games. Won that historic medal, the only medal from the Indians. and they have a tremendous camaraderie. People think they're sisters, they're not. They come from the same place in Nodia in West Bengal. They have a very, very good understanding and certainly have some very good results to show. Very, very good results to show in the circuit. So I'm not surprised. Having said that, you want these good results to translate in multidiscipline tournaments also, because that is where, unfortunately in India, however much you do very well in a smash, in a China smash or a Saudi smash, people will still want to see a Commonwealth Games or an Asian Games or an Olympic Games. That is how it is as far as multi sport is concerned. That is what the Asian Games medal was so important. One would want them to continue this performance and continue to do well over the next couple of years as well.
And final comments about Cambodia. The Women's World Cup. It's very close. Wait, before I asked about that, Chess League, Global Chess League is going to begin day after tomorrow. Just another day. It's a power packed tournament. We're going to see Vicky Anand, Vaishali, Arjun as well, Arjun Erigasi, and some others as well. Gukesh is obviously not playing, but he's preparing for World Championships. Boria, are you really excited for this? Because it's I'm really looking forward to the Global Chess League.
Absolutely am. Absolutely am. We are partnering them. We'll get you some extraordinary content. I'm looking forward to. And by the way, the top boards will play the top boards, which means there is another Vishwanathan Anand versus Magnus Carlsen match. Pragyananda is playing board two, which means I think there's a Prague versus the top boards. So the top boards at this point in time for all the six are as follows. So the top boards are Firuja Ali Reza, Nakamura, Hikaru Nakamura, Vishwanathan Anand, Magnus Carlsen. So clearly Anish Giri. So you have some fantastic games there. Board two, you have Arjun Erigasi and you have Pragyananda. So basically Pragyananda and Arjun will face off again. And that will be yet another classic, because Pragyananda in that interview to me clearly said that one match he wants to play and is looking forward to play is against Arjun Erigasi. There are some good matches where Koneru Hampi, for example, will play against Vaishali. Koneru Hampi will play Vaishali. She will also play. So some really, really good matches coming up there in the Global Chess League. Arjun, Anand, Carlsen, Prag, Vaishali. You just Hikaru Nakamura. You just name them. You have them. Incredibly interesting format. 6 leagues, franchise, London. Great backdrop, good weather at this point, not too cold yet. So I think it will be an extraordinarily interesting tournament, and we will keep an eye on that as well. Tomorrow, we will have a Vaishali interview for you exclusive, where she talks about Gukesh's chances. She talks about the Olympiad, what it means, and of course, she talks about the importance of the Global Chess League.
As a chess enthusiast who's just starting out, I'm also excited to watch it. Devashish?
Can I just share a quick update on football? The match between Tractor SC and Mohun Bagan Supergiant has been cancelled. So that's the official news that we are getting. So the match is cancelled. So Mohun Bagan does not face any sanctions or any fines or whatsoever. Yes, you should understand the situation right now in Iran. It was not feasible to send the team, despite having visas and having their hotel bookings. So the official word now is the Mohun Bagan Supergiant and Tractor SC match has been cancelled. So it will be interesting what the AFC decides when this match will be rescheduled, or will it be played in a neutral venue. We'll get to know in a few days' time.
And before you leave, Devashish, final comments on Women's World Cup. We're seeing a warm-up match today, and who are you looking forward to watching, and what are your expectations out of the team?
Yeah, obviously, if you ask me, Gargi, I need some inspiration from Harmanpreet Kaur. Means we saw what happened with Indian team. Rohit Sharma led from the front and guided India to that incredible T20 World Cup win in the USA and the Caribbean. So it's time now, because Indian women's team are yet to win an ICC trophy, and it's a huge opportunity for them. So yes, there are some injury concerns, but if you ask me, the captain it's high time the captain needs to lead from the front. If India are to make any strong statement, means obviously, and the biggest motivation they can get is to see the women's team doing well in the Caribbean, because not many people give them that India will go on to win. They were not overwhelming favorites, but still they they took it one match at a time, and eventually they ended up lifting the T20 World Cup. So everything to look for this team as a well balanced side. So let's hope the women team give us more joy.
Boria, your thoughts?
It is time. Women's cricket needs their 1983 moment. I've been saying it for a long time. This is an opportunity for Harman and the team. UAE conditions not very different compared to subcontinental conditions. Certainly not a South African condition or an Australian condition or an English condition. So come on, you have a team which can deliver, but it is absolutely sort of imperative, as Devashish very rightly said, that the skipper needs to lead from the front. Harmanpreet Kaur has been leading the Indian T20 team for a while now. She has been leading after Mithali Raj's retirement, even in the 50-over format in 21. So you've been around and captaining this team for a good 5-6 years. It is time for you to deliver. If you don't, people will want to look beyond you and go to Smriti Mandana because she's been waiting in the ranks. Harmanpreet Kaur has to be more consistent as a player and as a leader and try and win India this tournament. Not simply, India cannot just say semi-final is good enough. Final is good enough. It is no longer good enough. With the WPL, there is money, there is infrastructure, there are facilities, there's everything, there is stardom. These players now have all the facilities in the world that they now need. For the longest time, coach was an issue. Now Amol has been appointed for more than a year. So in every sense, they have their base covered. So no excuses. Dubai and Sharjah, good conditions for the Indian team to go and do their trade, including the spinners. So go and get this trophy because it's not an easy group. Sri Lanka is the dark horse for me in that group. Inoka Ranavira, Hashita Madhvi, whether it is Chamari Atapatu, whether it is Hasni Pereira, that Sri Lankan side, Nilakshi Silva, even after the Shashikala Sirivardhana retirement, the way the last 2 years the team has galvanized, and in the last year, Asia Cup is an example. Sri Lanka will not be an easy team to beat. Good that we are starting out against New Zealand and not Sri Lanka. And with Australia in the group, India has its task cut out. But again, as a supporter and fan of Indian cricket, I think this is India's moment. If they don't, then you can expect that the sport will be pushed back. And it is Harmanpreet Kaur's moment with history. If she delivers, she's a cult. If she doesn't, it will perhaps be time to look beyond her as skipper.
I agree with both Boria and Devashish. And India's campaign in the Women's World Cup starts on 4th October against New Zealand women. So it will be interesting to see how Harmanpreet Kaur leads the team, inspires the team throughout the tournament. But we expect nothing but the silverware from the Indian team. Stay tuned to us. Yes.
Gargi, one question has been multiple times asked by Siddharth. Is our country's bid confirmed for 2036 Olympics? Because Ahmedabad is also not officially announced as a potential city. Absolutely not confirmed. I mean, India has not officially even told the IOC that which is the city that India will put forward. There are many other bidders. Chile, Santiago, Budapest, Hungary, Doha, Qatar, Egypt, India. There is an Indonesian bid also. There are 6-7 bids that will come for the 2036 Olympics, including some very strong bids. Chile is a good bid. Budapest is a good bid. Doha after the 2022 Football World Cup is a very strong bid. Egypt has already hosted events, is a pretty strong bid. Indonesia is a decent enough bid. So India, at this point in time, yes, the Prime Minister has multiple times said we will bid. But in terms of real groundwork, which is the city? Is it Delhi, Jaipur, that corridor? Is it Ahmedabad, that corridor? We don't know yet. It has not been officially communicated to the IOC. And if you see the way IOA is fighting between the president and the executive board at the moment, the last thing on their minds must be the bid. First things first, they should settle their house. It is looking ugly every day. One message from Usha and the president's lobby, the other from the executive board, both of them criticizing each other in front of the press. This is not good for Indian sport. So for Indian sport, it has to be that there is confidence in the president, there is confidence between the members, and we show a united face rather than a divided front. So no, 2036 in no way has been confirmed in any shape or form for the Olympic Games.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the Women's World Cup, Snehashish and Snehashish is already there. Bharat will reach soon. So we'll be bringing you all the updates from our on ground. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates, not just for the Women's World Cup, but everything else that's starting. Chess League, table tennis, you name it, we have it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining.